Right. So I recently read SCUM Manifesto by Valerie Solanas, and it made me feel things. I would really like to compare it to Walt Whitman's, let me check what it is called, I Sing the Body Electric. Because the thing about this book, right, is that it's very compelling and it's also very shocking. It's shocking to the point where it's just funny. You're just reading it being like, what? How? Because we just don't hear that kind of stuff, which makes it even more compelling and attractive to read. But getting ahead of myself, found this in the Contemporary Institute of Arts in London, in the library they had. And well, Valerie Solanas is the woman who shot Andy Warhol. He didn't die. She was a hardcore feminist, and as a feminist myself, what a label to use nowadays, isn't it? It's hard to disagree with some of the points, but it's impossible to agree with all of them. Valerie Solanas might be a very interesting case of a female criminal that people haven't studied as much in society, and I wonder why. She was, against the patriarchy in the way it manifests in all of society. The phrase I've told my friends is that she calls men walking dildos. SCUM itself is the society of cutting up men. So please, for all of this, please take this with a grain of salt. When she talks about men, it's clear she is not seeing reality the way we see reality. Her experience with men clearly were not good. And I don't find this super out of imagination to imagine that a woman with extreme mental health issues and maybe isolated with very interesting thoughts, but maybe gets dismissed a lot. And Joker is a good example of what I'm trying to get at here. But she made one point, it's quite a long introduction, to say that she is crazy, and then that's the actual manifesto. I mean, it's a very good introduction. I'm not going to bash on this. It was very interesting to get context. She's saying that men were never meant to exist in the first place, and that the Y chromosome is just an incomplete X chromosome, and that it was a mistake in evolution that men existed in the first place. And then she's saying that they lack any inherent substance, that they always need a woman behind them, or a woman doing something to them, or giving them a reason to act, like that they're empty basically, and that it's the women who have been oppressed, and then now they need to revolt and they need to be aggressive to get anything changed, or to be respected in society, or to be themselves. And see, that's the danger with extreme things, with extreme opinions, is that it invariably leads to extremism and terror. That was a great sentence. And I guess it takes me back to like my own experience with Extinction Rebellion that I've had, and I can only say good things. But the reaction I get from other people is that they're afraid that I'm being like radicalized. Radicalized involves violence, isn't it? I mean, some people include breaking the law. She definitely includes violence in it as well. And she says that it's a social responsibility, that it's the responsibility of women to rise up against it, and that it's the reason we are being oppressed is because we're taking it. And I mean, she does have a point, and if you don't like what's happening, it's your job to change it. But I mean, the problem with humanity is that we base our worldview on the way we view the world. And the way we view the world is based on our senses, our experiences, yes, we read a lot of books, yes, we have traveled a lot, but we have only ever experienced everything from this body, from these eyes, from this nose. Appearance does matter. If you have the money to have people care about you, if you have the right family, if people love you, if you are easy to love, yes, it's easier to be polite and to get things done, but sometimes you have to be impolite. Sometimes breaking the law has given us democracy. I mean, people are still celebrating Guy Fawkes Night. Like, there is a beauty in rebellion, there's a beauty in standing up and finding a community. There is danger if someone misuses that community. You gotta beware of circles. As soon as you belong to a group, you have closed the circle, and then there's a distinction between you and them. And I think she has made that mistake where as soon as you identify something in which two things differ, that does not necessarily mean that they are at war with each other, you know? Which brings me beautifully to this long poem by Walt Whitman that I really wanted to contrast with this thought of the world is horrible, but if you just stop there and you stick with violence and you assume that the train of, you know, what you have to do in life, whatever it is you want to achieve in this life, that it stops at anger and violence, then you're just not seeing the beauty behind it. You know, anger is just to get you moving. It's just to help you get stuff done. What you do with it is not anger's fault. It's up to you how your body was trained. I like stuff from Toy Story, so they say, remember your training. And it's, they're like, what training? And I like saying that to myself when I'm feeling anxious or, you know, I need to do something I don't want to do. I'm just like, remember your training. And what is my training? It's my childhood, it's my experiences, my failures, it's all the criticisms that stuck with me because, you know, they stuck in there. I think The Body Electric is kind of like the brain cleanse I went to after the read, because it just got me angry. It just got me like, you know, anger is blind. It tells the story of the female and the male in a very different way. And part of being a feminist nowadays is to be intersectional, obviously, and kind of continuously check yourself to see, am I being blind about any privilege that I have or anything that I'm not considering because I haven't encountered it? Do I have to listen more? Is my ego kind of stopping me from listening to things? So Walt Whitman, he talks about humans in a sacred way. Literally, I mean, the line I was looking at is, if anything is sacred, the human body is sacred. The man's body is sacred and a woman's body is sacred. No matter who it is sacred. Is it the meanest one in the labourers' gang? Is it one of the dull-faced immigrants just landed off the wharf? Each belong here and anywhere just as much as the well-off, just as much as you. Each has his or her place in the procession. All is a procession. The universe is a procession with measured and perfect motion. This kind of sentiment that you find a lot of Greek philosophy or in writers, you know, in Goethe, Walt Whitman. I mean, there's a lot. Everyone who seems to have found his kind of genius, what they have to achieve in life, which is not based on violence, but it's based on an acceptance and like a rejection of duality. If you read Western philosophy, if you dabble in Eastern, you know, Asian philosophy, all the times before computers, because I think we're living in an age of amnesia and we're just kind of trusting what we see. So if you see men being unkind to you, you assume that all men are kind, and that is not just something that happens on a mental level, but it's clearly also something that happens on a physical level. Like when I was thinking of, you know, Airbnb-ing a room out of a flat, I was like, there's no way I'm getting a guy in here, because first of all, I was raised by Iranian parents and like I did what I wanted anyway with them and they will certify that. But you don't do that. You know, what will the people say? That voice is there, isn't that weird? Or like, you know, you will be putting yourself out in danger, and then if something happens, it will be your fault. And it's a system of taking too much accountability for things that are not your responsibility. And I think what I really like about her is that it makes you accountable again for your life. I mean, the Western world is not free, good Lord. I mean, we're being constantly shouted at with messaging, and like it doesn't go away. Like once that voice is there, like once some part of your body still believes it, that memory will stick with you and it will come out in moments when you're triggered. And I don't say triggered because I don't believe in it, but just because it's like such a word now. Point is, it's good to not feel helpless. It's good to be accountable for your actions. It's even better to move on from that and say, what do I want? If I was going to get the thing I want, what would I have to do? What would I have to do right now? Like, you know, if you want that much money, how much would you have to earn? If you want that by then, how much would you have to earn now? Like, it's just breaking down tasks. If you are scared of going outside, just put your shoes on. Just pretend to go to the door and then come back. Did that make any sense? I certainly had a lot of fun sitting here for 15 minutes. If you're going to read one of the two, read Walt Whitman. In Iranian traditional medicine, sometimes the medicine you're given is listen to beauty, is if you're depressed, you should smell nice smells. You should hear nice sounds. And Walt Whitman, I find, is very good for that, because even just reading him and thinking his words kind of has a rhythm to him, and I find it quite healing. And on that note, if anyone has actually watched all of that, thank you, bye.